Here is my first published machine learning paper research. And so in this project, we looked at gene mutation prediction in lung cancer with different types of multimodal machine learning approaches for radiogenomics. And I co-authored this paper right here. Here are some of my people I worked with. They were in our AI research group at my school. A lot of these are my friends. We also had a professor and a doctor help us out. And ultimately what we did was we were able to predict gene mutation specifically in non-small cell lung cancer, and we had these 3 different types of viruses. For 130 patients, we looked at the imaging data for their lung scans as well as their gene data and their clinical data as well. So if you put someone in a CT scan, you basically, what happens is through the use of magnetics, electronics, that slices, you can get a cross section of their lung at every so within a certain thickness of their lung, which these cross sections you can then, as 2D images, you can stack them up and you can get the full 3D image of the lung right here. And a doctor would be able to look at this or look at one of these and determine whether or not non-small cell lung cancer is there. And so what we did was we ultimately combined the imaging data from the CT scan. We put it in this CNN model, which learns the feature maps. It looks for where the lung cancer, little blotches, where they typically are. It looks for them. It learns the kernels, which then creates the activation maps, which we then concatenate with the genomics data and the clinical data. So the genomics data is just a kind of table or matrix of the person's genes. So that combined with the clinical data are then concatenated into one. There are 2 feature vectors concatenated together, as well as the CNN, the activation maps. So that if you look at this, here's an activation map. This would be the clinical data, the genomic data. You just basically fuse them together. That's all that is. That's where the fusion comes in multimodal machine learning. And so the whole point of this was that we were able to get some pretty good accuracies. So we got, I think, a 94% AUC curve in predicting gene mutation. And right here are some things, these 2 visualizations I actually created. There's a lot going in them, but this is just a correlation matrix. These are the clinical features that I actually helped work. My job was, if you look at this, my job was to do the clinical data. Someone else did the genomics, another person did the CT scan. So I did this. And I looked at 30 different patient features, and I scaled, one hot encoded, normalized the same scale. I worked with kind of binning together certain dates as well, and I got that all done. And here is actually the patient's genomes, and the patients did a correlation on that. And ultimately, you can read through some of this as well, but we found that EfficientNets, our ensemble of them, performs the best. And ultimately that the whole point of this is we are able to have radiologists utilize our models to speed up clinical researchers and diagnostics, as well as gene target therapy treatments. Specifically for diagnosis, using medical imaging, it can be a tool that can provide data on diagnosis, personalized treatment, surveillance, and prognosis. So this is going to help radiologists and other doctors kind of help someone throughout the lung cancer process and try to mitigate it. And that's really the whole point of this paper, is definitely a medical focus on with the deep learning right here. I hope you found this interesting, and if you want to read it, go read in the description below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you later.